Achan was very satisfied with the answer. Since then, he became even more careful and considerate to Mei Lan. Whenever Mei Lan was out, he'd secretly hold her hand under the table to comfort her. He kept reminding her again and again not to forget her fever reducer. Even when Mei Lan took a taxi home, he'd get out of the car first to help her, making sure no accidents happened. In this carefree relationship, their love only grew deeper. But then, her ex-boyfriend, who had been pestering her for a long time, suddenly took a video and uploaded it online, slandering Achan by saying she fell in love with a rich man. When he saw Shai's name trending, he made up his mind to divorce that scumbag. But on the day of the divorce agreement, he saw a photo of his son and Mei Lan. He never expected that Mei Lan, the sister of his son's crush, was actually his best friend. His husband and son were both taken from him by the same woman. His fiancée helped the TV station hide his whereabouts, and eventually, she became the head of the news department. Add to that the strange tension between two people who hadn't seen each other in 20 years, Achan had already taken their relationship as a thing of the past. But Ying wasn't ready to give up. He wanted to go back to how things were 20 years ago, when he heard that Achan and Mei Lan were investigating something related to the show by themselves. He rushed to the same hotel. After dressing up, he sent his room number to Achan, hoping she'd understand his hint. But he waited from dusk till dawn. The room door remained quietly shut. After returning to the company, he saw Achan acting close to him, but deep down, she was having a secret affair with Mei Lan. He completely blackened inside. He remembered that not long ago, Achan had told him about a frozen man kept in a plastic bag in an underground lab, and that he looked exactly like Lee, Shidao. He found a paparazzo and exposed Mei Lan's identity as a frozen woman. No matter how public opinion exploded online, his only focus was on Lee Shidao's actions. And just as he expected, the day after Dr. Zhao admitted that defrosting was possible, his car exploded right outside his building. Luckily, because he had forgotten a document, he hadn't gotten in yet. Just 10 seconds later, the only person in the world who could defrost disappeared. Being head of the news department, he had access to wide sources of information. After connecting a few events together, Ying quickly deduced the truth. The current Lee Shidao must actually be the real Luan Sheng's younger brother, but the inheritance system of rich families was ruthless. The older brother inherited the massive family business. The younger brother only got a minor share. How could that ever satisfy someone so ambitious? So back in 1999, after his brother fainted due to an accident, he successfully took over his brother's identity and became the new Lee Shidao. But he hadn't realized that his brother had already signed the Frozen Man agreement. Not long after fainting, he was taken away by Dr. Huang, who was conducting the experiment. It hadn't been easy to contact Dr. Huang 20 years ago. He tried to enter the lab under the name of family, but they refused, so he went all out. He had people deal with Dr. Huang directly. Dr. Huang, the only one who knew how to defrost a frozen man without him. The brother was stuck as a permanent soldier in time, but he never imagined that 20 years later, defrosting would actually succeed. When Mei Lan and Achan defrosted and jumped into the spotlight, he only grew more furious. Coincidentally, at that time, Ying came forward, extremely excited, and directly gave him Dr. Wang's location. In exchange, he wanted Mei Lan to be refrozen in the capsule. Li Hengdao soon sent people to find Dr. Huang, with the intention of sending him to the afterlife, along with the dead brother. But to his surprise, the frozen capsule was empty. Lee Shidao, who was supposed to be lying inside, had disappeared. This 52-year-old handsome man had fallen in love with his 44-year-old girlfriend, but as soon as things started to heat up between them, their body temperatures would fluctuate. Obviously, a living person couldn't let the other suffocate to death from the heat. So they switched to low-temperature love mode. They kissed in the rain, in the bathroom under cold water, and even their dating spots were chilly places like ice houses. Two aunties once walked in and lasted less than 5 minutes before they were frozen out, but these two enjoyed the cold so much they even wanted to finish their kiss before leaving. Their love story soon became known to the families. Achan's mother worried that Mei Lan, after 20 years, would struggle with childbirth. She wanted to meet Mei Lan and separate them. When they met one night, she asked, "You're not dating because you're planning to marry, are you?" Mei Lan simply smiled and said, "I'm only 24 years old, mother. I don't want to get married just yet." "Oh, that's a relief. But can you tell me why not?" "I think I'm pretty good." "How can you say that with such confidence?" "I work hard. I'm not picky, and I have a good personality." I have a lot of money. I even get 700 yuan from the broadcasting station. Who else could get that much from Ma Dongjin? Meanwhile, Dr. Huang finally developed the first version of the antidote. She called Achan in excitement, but he didn't tell Mei Lan. He wanted to try it on himself first. If it worked, then he would give it to her. After the injection, Achan's body temperature slowly rose. At the same time, he experienced difficulty breathing, heart pain, and more. Dr. Huang explained that these were normal symptoms, part of restoring his temperature. She estimated the process would take 7 days. Achan carefully recorded all his physical conditions day by day. He wanted to complete the frozen program from 20 years ago, because ever since he and Mei Lan successfully defrosted, many people across China had expressed the desire to enter frozen capsules too. Some had children with cancer. Some had aging parents. There were thousands of people who needed time to heal. Achan couldn't forget those hopeful eyes. So he insisted on documenting every detail of his condition after injection to help future patients by the 3rd day. The difficulty breathing and heart pressure symptoms had disappeared. On a long ice rink date with Mei Lan, Achan could finally feel the cold, just to be with her. He stayed sitting on the ice. By the 5th day, his temperature had reached 35.5 degrees Celsius. Already beyond the frozen person limit of 33 degrees Celsius, yet his body showed no signs of vomiting or coma. On the 7th day, Achan's temperature recovered to 36.5 degrees Celsius, normal for humans. A full physical exam showed his body had completely returned to a normal standard. To celebrate, Achan bought couple watches. On the day both of them had recovered to normal temperatures, he removed his wristband and gave her the watch. But just a day before Mei Lan was to receive her own injection, disaster struck. A masked man with a knife followed Achan to a filming site. Mei Lan saw it but had no time to warn him. She rushed forward to shield Achan, taking the knife herself. Achan couldn't believe it. Just 1 day before Mei Lan would be successfully defrosted, she lay there, seriously injured, bleeding in his arms. As she was rushed to the emergency room, even worse news followed. The doctor urgently asked the family to sign a surgery consent form. Mei Lan's injuries were too severe and she needed immediate surgery, but Dr. Huang rushed to stop it. Mei Lan's body temperature was still 31.5 degrees Celsius, barely enough for daily function. Anesthesia would lower her temperature further, and she would die in under 2 hours. But the temperature-raising medicine needed 7 full days to work. There was no time. The only solution was to put Mei Lan back in the freezer and urgently research a faster thought process. Though it hurt, Achan made the painful decision. As Mei Lan's face was slowly covered with ice again, Achan couldn't hold back his tears. To comfort Mei Lan's devastated aunt, he moved into her house, and over time, they became each other's closest family. Time rolled by. 2 years later, Achan had become the golden producer of the TV station once again. One day, while on a business trip to Guizhou Island, he received a call from Dr. Huang. The clinical trial had succeeded. After watching for 24 hours straight, the new drug had proven effective. Achan rushed to bring Mei Lan's parents to the hospital. Dr. Huang estimated that after the injection, Mei Lan would recover to normal temperature in just 30 minutes, but the painful thawing process of 7 days would be concentrated in that short time. No one knew if she could bear it. Everyone held their breath as the medicine entered Mei Lan's body. She was pushed into the operating room. The 3-hour surgery felt like a lifetime. The doctor announced the operation had gone very well. But Mei Lan didn't wake up. She remained in a coma, and all they could do was wait for a day. Or perhaps forever. Then, on one trip to Guizhou Island, Achan received a call from the hospital. After 3 long years, the lovers finally met again. Despite everything they had gone through, they could now embrace each other. It was perfect. Their parents had always been worried about their marriage. But Mei Lan had already spent half her life sleeping in a freezer. She didn't want to jump into marriage just yet. She wanted to study abroad for a few years first. Achan, terrified by the idea of Mei Lan seeing too many handsome young men, quickly resigned from the TV station. He followed her around the world, studying abroad together. He also returned to his passion for writing media, opening a travel account to document their global adventures. Together, they became popular internet bloggers and the fairy tale couple that everyone admired. They walked hand in hand across countless rivers and mountains, cherishing every moment together.